Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to my channel. Today is Makeover Monday, and I've got two amazing projects for you. This is a sweet little box that had some painting on it, recipes, and it said cookie box with a couple of gingerbread. Really cute, but not my style. But I loved, look at these hinges. They're amazing. They're a hammered metal. They've got a little bit of issues with them, so I'm going to be taking them off and repainting them. And I'm using my ratchet screwdriver to do this. I've got this little craft tool that's very handy. I've got the sanding attachment on it. I'm going to take it outside, sand down any of the excess glue, and also sand down the painted areas so they're nice and smooth. Then I'm going to go over it with one coat of flat black latex paint. This is just a paint that I picked up at Walmart, and it's really good just for painting on when you want to have some of the black showing through for distressing. Now that the black is totally dry, I'm going over it again with some white latex paint. And this is also just a flat latex paint that I use. I buy it by the gallon and it's really inexpensive and works just great. And I love to use this paint on wood projects. I'm going to give this 2 coats. I've put the screws in a piece of styrofoam and I'm going to take it outside and give it a couple coats of Rust-Oleum high heat barbecue paint. I love this paint. It dries super fast. The base is totally dry, so I'm taking some coarse grit sandpaper and running over all of the edges to bring out some of that black paint. Now, if you go too far down with the sandpaper, it will bring out some of the wood, but that's okay too. If you like that look, it would be absolutely perfect. I also like to go over the pieces with some fine grit sandpaper, and this is 100 grit. It came in a pack at Dollarama. And what I'm doing is just getting out any of the extra lumps and bumps from too much paint. Sometimes the latex paint can pile up along the edges and the sides, and I also am going to go across the top of it to give it a nice smooth finish. I love using my ratchet screwdriver. If you're not familiar with what a ratchet means, it holds the screw and the handle twists, so you don't have to put a lot of effort into trying to get things screwed in. The screwdriver does the work for you. I'm going to let you listen to the next one. That's what a ratchet screwdriver sounds like, and you can also adjust it so you can do a reverse motion or a forward motion. Now I'm just going to take some coarse grit sandpaper and really go along the edges where I want a lot of that black to show through. I have started using baby wipes quite a bit in my projects. I just find that the dampness of it really helps to take away any of the sandpaper. The only thing you want to remember is you don't want to press too hard with anything damp on your projects because that will reactivate the paint and it will start pulling some of it off. I'm back to printing on tissue paper. I love this method, especially on a flat surface like this. You don't even notice the tissue paper is on there. It looks like it's been painted on, and it's super easy and really fun to do because you can do black and white, you can do colors, anything your heart desires. I'm using Mod Podge to apply the tissue paper, and I'm just doing the circle that I need for now. I'll give the whole thing a coat of Mod Podge when I'm done. Then my best tip for you with this is to pick up your little design with your paintbrush, and then you can place it wherever you need it to be. You can also steady your hand with your other hand to make sure you get it in the right spot. Then gently start brushing from the inside out, and you'll have hardly any wrinkles. You do want to make sure that your paintbrush has a little bit of Mod Podge on it. If it's too dry, you're going to pull the tissue paper back up and possibly tear it. Once you have it all smoothed out, you're going to take your brush and pounce it up and down on any little wrinkles or maybe any bubbles. I like to also go around the edge because that just makes it blend right in with your paint and you don't even notice that there's a label on here. It's a really fantastic way to put things on, and I have to thank the person that I got this from. Her name is Julie, and her YouTube channel is Julie's Designs and Signs. She's in New Orleans, and I love her accent. She does some amazing designs with thrift flips, and she sells a lot of her things, and I'm learning so much from her. So I will have her channel link down in my description box. Go check her out when you've got some time. You will not be disappointed. I thought the bottom part of this little box looked a little plain, so since I had printed out two of these, and that would be my suggestion for you, if you're running tissue paper through your printer, duplicate your projects in case you muck one up and it doesn't work, or you want to maybe add some little embellishments like I'm doing here, then you have the same design and you can cut it up and match it perfectly. So that's what I'm doing. I just cut up a few of the floral stems and the extra little bee, and now I'm just adding those on using the same Mod Podge method. Once I was done with all of this, I did seal the whole box with one light coat of Mod Podge. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what you think. For my second project today, I'm using two new techniques. The first one is adding some baking soda to some black chalk paint, and I'm just going to pour it into a little jar because then that way I can seal it up and use any extra for another time. So what I'm doing is just putting about, I would say about a half an inch into this little jar, and then I'm going to start just pouring in some baking soda. I'm going to stir it up and then check to see if there's enough texture in the paint and just keep adding until I have enough that I feel will be good. So I would say probably a good tablespoon is what I added to this little mixture, but you're going to have to play around with it and see how things work. There really isn't an exact science to this. It's basically just what you feel is going to work for your project. I found this super cute rooster or chicken cookie jar at the thrift store. It was $4.99. It still has the little rubber piece on it, so it will seal up really nice and tight. I think, though, I will probably just use it as a decor piece. I really enjoyed working with this paint mixture. It really looks great. And one thing I really love about it is that it dries super quick. There must be something in the baking soda that just absorbs the moisture. I do find that as well when I'm working with talc and my regular acrylic or latex paint. It does make things dry a lot faster. So now I'm working on my second coat and I'm loving it so far. I really like the black, but I'm thinking about doing some type of little distressing technique on it, which I will show you in just 1 second. So another thing that I learned from Julie over at Julie's Designs and Signs is to use some liquid wax and then just add a little bit of your favorite paint color. So I am using white, and when I opened this folk art home decor wax, it smelled like Mod Podge to me. So it is just a type of sealer. But when you add the white paint into it, you then get a white colored sealer. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. You can make so many more custom designs that way. So I started to paint the bottom part and then I decided to go over this with a matte finish sealer in clear just to make sure that the paint would stick to my cookie jar. And now I'm just applying the wax with a brush, and you want to be very gentle with this because you don't want to pull off any of that textured paint. I did have a few pieces pop off and then I had the orange underneath. So I'm thinking that's probably maybe where the sealer didn't actually hit. I think if I did this technique again, I would probably seal it with Mod Podge first, or maybe just the clear wax first. Now I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm just gently wiping off some of the wax to show the difference in the texture and the dimension of these little branches and leaves. And if you go across just the raised edges, that will pull off some more of the white wax to reveal the darker color underneath. I'm working on the top now, and look at all those details that just pop when you add that white wax. This was a really simple project, but I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I hope you enjoyed these projects today. If you did, I'd love for you to stick around because I've got plenty more on the way. Hit that subscribe button. That black arrow will point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.